say 2000 Toyota 4Runner, and we're going to be replacing the fan belts on this particular vehicle. It's a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder, and it's fairly easy to do. It's not really that bad. Basically what you want to do is you want to obviously take the outside belt off first and work your way in. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up this bolt right here. This is the adjuster, and we're going to loosen this nut right on that on this pulley right here, so that this will slide up and down. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, and once you have that pulley loosened up, you just put a socket onto the adjustment, and you just back that out, and you just loosen up so that you can take the belt off the pulley. You don't really have to go off all the way, just enough to remove it. And then your belt comes right off the pulley, and you can take it off of the vehicle itself. Okay, and then you can just take the belt off of the car. And the next one we're going to loosen up is going to be the air conditioning, which is right down in here. We're going to loosen up this bolt right here, and then the adjustment, which is just like this one here, but that bolt is facing from the bottom up. So I'll show you how that's done. And you just have to crack it loose. You don't have to take it off all the way. And what I use is a ratcheting wrench. It's a little bit easier to try to get down there with a wrench that actually has the adjustment, the ratchet in the end of it. And then just back it off until you can take the belt. And then we can just take that belt off. Take the belt off, and then your air conditioner's belt is off. The next thing we're going to do is take off the alternator belt. You can just loosen this, and then we can loosen the adjuster. I just usually just push it up out of the way, just to get it out of the way so we can get the belt off. And then we can reattach our fan belt. adjustment bolt back into position, and then we can tighten the adjustment bolt until we get the proper tension on the fan belt. Again, we want to have about 1/4 of an inch play, and we can just tighten it up until we get to that. And then we tighten up this bolt, which is the adjustment bolt on top. That's tight. Now we're just going to go down to the bottom and retighten up the lower bolt on the bottom pivot, and that's it. Then you're all set. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put all the belts in where they belong, and this one here is the one for the air conditioner. First thing you do is you get it around the lower crankshaft. Put it onto the crankshaft, and then you put it around the compressor. And then you can push the pulley, the adjustment pulley up, and get that belt in place. And then we can tighten it up with our our ratcheting wrench. You could probably tighten it up by hand, pretty tight. And then you can use the wrench to tighten it up the rest of the way. And then what I do is I make it so that you have about 1/4 of an inch or less play in the belt. It's got to be pretty tight because it may stress just a tiny bit. And that's pretty tight right there. So once you got that tight, then you've got to tighten up the nut in the front of the tensioner. And then your AC belt is finished. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the power steering belt on now too. You can just slide the belt in and just rotate the fan until the belt is all the way around the fan. First thing you want to do is you want to connect it down onto your lower crankshaft pulley. Okay, you've got it down in your crankshaft pulley down the bottom down there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take the belt and put it onto the tensioner, and then we'll adjust it. Alright, you make sure you're on down the bottom, which it is. It's on here, and it's on the power steering. Now we can adjust it, and the way we adjusted this one is we used a longer extension with the socket. And then you can just slowly tighten it up. Again, the same thing. You want to have about a 1/4 inch of play in the belt. Just a little bit tighter. That looks good. And then we're just going to tighten up the bolt in the front. We just tighten up the nut on the front of the pulley. Nice and tight. And then before you start it, just check your belts, make sure they're nice and tight. Everything is in where it belongs. And of course, make sure you didn't knock off any hoses, because that happens frequently when you're sticking your arm down there. Just make sure you reattach the hoses that came off. And that's it, we're all ready to start it up.